Have you ever actually thought about how much it costs for a driver to get to Formula One? Because unless you have a big sponsor behind you or a team like McLaren or Mercedes, how on earth are you going to get there? The cost is astronomical. So in today's video, I'm going to go through each stage of how to get to Formula One and how much it would cost. And we're going to be following a certain person's career path. We're going to be following Oliver Rowland, a British racing driver who's racing in Formula 2 this year. Probably doesn't look like he's going to be making a step to Formula 1 next year due to seats being unavailable. But in the typical sort of career, he would go to Formula 1 next. He's accomplished everything he needs to sort of get a Formula 1 drive. So pretty much any professional racing driver would have started in go-karts. But it's so hard to define exactly how much money they would have spent on go-karting. This is because some people take 1 year, some people take 5 years, some people spend 10 years in go-karts because they start so early. So it's so hard to define exactly how much that you spend on go-karts. Also, you must remember, if you crash a lot in go-karts, it will cost money and all that sort of stuff, and different series cost different amount of money. So it's very, very tough to define exactly. Out of all of these series I go through right now, karting is the hardest one to define about how much it actually costs because it is so variable. So doing my research online, I came across a number that sort of repeatedly came up, and a lot of people say that you had to spend about £1 million to get through go-karting and get into sort of a professional series after that. Of course, that could be way less, it could be way more. It's very hard to define it, and out of all of the ones in this sort of video right now, that's the hardest one to describe exactly how much you spend, because some people could spend as little as like £100,000 on go-karts, only do it for a couple of years. Others could spend maybe 2-3 million on go-karts. I mean, they could go all out. So at the end of 2010, Oliver Rowland switched to cars after doing go-karting for all those years. After finishing a go-kart season, he decided to do a little bit of testing in the Formula Renault 2.0. I think he did the Winter Championship, and he only did a couple of races in that, but that still would have set him back about £50,000, only for a couple of races in a Formula Renault 2.0, one of the smallest single-seater categories out there. So into 2011, Oliver Rowland switched to the full season of Formula Renault 2.0, and that set him back around £200,000. Now, you've got to remember, all of these are online sources, so who knows whether they're totally reliable, but we have to take them with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but we'll give them the benefit of doubt with this one. So about £200,000 for a full Formula Renault UK season. I have done my own inquiries on this, and back a couple of years ago when BRDC Formula 4 was about, it would have cost you about £120,000 for a series in that, but then, once again, Formula Renault UK was a little bit more of a well-known series back then. 2011, I'd say that was probably a little bit more expensive than Formula 4. So you've got to probably take into account travel, hotels, testing, all that sort of stuff. So it probably drives that number up to more like £200,000. So you definitely need some sort of budget to even get into a car for a full season. On to 2012, Oliver Rowland decided to go into the sort of the European or the main series around the world for Formula Renault, which would have set you back £350,000, nearly double the amount for just the UK series. So you see already how it's evolving. The costs are just getting up and up and up to get into Formula 1. And this is only the junior categories. This is only a small car, one of the smallest cars out there. But when you go into a European series, it's inevitably going to cost more. You're going up against sort of tougher competition. So £350,000 for a season in Formula Renault 2.0. But European standards, you're going to be paying more. So into 2013, Oliver Rowland continued with the European series, but also did some races in the NEC and the Alps series, setting him back about £450,000. But we must remember, Oliver Rowland was helped along the way by Racing Steps Foundation, which obviously would have funded most of his motorsport activities up until a certain point. I think like 2014, 2015 is when they stopped sort of putting the money into him. But yeah, huge amount of money going into Oliver Rowland's career right now, and I'm not saying this is just him. There are so many people around the world that are spending probably 2-3 times as much money as Oliver Rowland did to get anywhere near Formula 1. On to 2014, that was the big step up. That was the switch to Formula Renault 3.5 as it was known right then. That's £750,000 for a full season, so you see a big step up there, about £400,000 extra between the 2.0 and the 3.5. The 3.5, especially back then, was seen as the sort of the tier below Formula 1. It was sort of on level with GP2, maybe not quite as good as GP2 at the time, but it was still seen as a very good series. But at the time, Oliver Rowland switched to that, and he was pretty competitive straight away, meaning he could go into the second season knowing most likely he was going to be battling for the championship. Into 2015, Oliver Rowland did actually snatch the championship that year and also decided to do some GP2 rounds at the same time. That sent him back £1.5 million. That's a lot of money. Actually, it was £1.55 million. It was a lot of money to combine Formula 2, or GP2 it was back at the time, and also Formula Renault 3.5. It is sort of the end of the season in GP2, which obviously showed the massive increase. GP2 is much more expensive than Formula Renault 3.5. And as Formula Renault 3.5 or Formula Renault 3.5 V8 or whatever it ended up being called started to die out, Oliver Rowland switched to the GP2 series, which is now called the F2 series, in 2016, which he did with quite a bit of success straight away. Obviously, being up to pace, he was quite good. But a season GP2 or Formula 2 costs you about £1.8 million. So for this season, 2016 and 2017, that's setting back £1.8 million at least each season as well. And I don't even know with all of these statistics, all these prices, I don't actually know if they actually include testing. I highly doubt it. So I doubt maybe these costs actually include that testing. Just crazy. So doing the maths, this cost Oliver Rowland nearly £8 million to get to the point he's at right now. And it begs the question, how on earth are you going to be sort of providing the best talent, the best drivers? How are they ever going to get a chance to actually race in Formula 1 if they have to spend £8 million to get there? And especially when a Formula 1 drive, a paid drive possibly, could cost maybe £2-3 million, depending on the driver, depending on the season. It really begs the question, is Formula 1 too expensive? Actually, scrap that. Is motorsport too expensive? Everything to get into motorsport is incredibly expensive, meaning most likely you need to have a very wealthy background to even get in the sport in the first place. I found this myself. Obviously, I tried to do go-karting, I tried to do racing competitively, or even just try and inquire, and it was just always out of my league. There was no way I was ever going to realistically get into the sport because just so damn expensive. In all honesty, Ollie Rowland probably actually took the cheaper career route to get to the top, because if you look at the other series that he could have competed in to get to a similar way, I mean, he spent, what, £750,000 on Formula Renault 3.5, Formula 2 nearly double that, or GP2 nearly double that, and he didn't really do an in-between between 2.0 and 3.5. I mean, you could have done Formula 3 Euro Series or GP3, which would have set you back about £600,000 a season. But then if you look at Formula Ford UK or Formula 4 as it was back then, that would set you back like 100,000, 120,000. So he started off with a bit more of an expensive series in the Formula Renault, but that maybe guarantees you progress in the future because you know the cars that you're going up through. So really, I was just making this video to see how much it actually costs you, or how much it could typically cost you to get to Formula 1. Now on this example right now, who knows whether even those numbers are totally accurate, but that cost you around £8 million to get you anywhere near Formula 1. Unfortunately for Ollie Rowland, it looks unlikely he'll be stepping into a Formula 1 car next season because we've only got the Williams seat available as of recording. So what do you guys think? Is Formula 1 too expensive? Is motorsport too expensive? Should we some way or somehow get those prices down? Try and get any sort of person involved in the sport, because unlike football, for example, or rugby or cricket, if you want to get the equipment, the kit to get involved with the sport, it's not too expensive. Okay, it's going to set you back a couple of £100 maybe to get all the equipment, but it's not hundreds of thousands of pounds. It's not millions of pounds to get anywhere near the sport. It's tough. Definitely with motorsport being this expensive, it just immediately pushes out maybe 99% of the population that wants to get involved in it, because it's just impossible. You can't do it if you don't have the sort of the cost or the financial mean behind you. I mean, let's not be too rude. I mean, obviously a lot of the drivers out there are incredibly talented. Of course, if you are very talented, you probably will get noticed early on, but it does make you think, is there any sort of way, surely go-karting, for example, can be cheaper? Like running a go-kart for the season could be even more expensive than racing in like a Formula 4 car or a Formula Ford car for a season. Go-karting itself is probably part of the reason why motorsport is so expensive, because each season could cost you maybe £60,000, £70,000 a season, depending on obviously what series, and obviously whether it's European World Championships, just British Series. Who really knows? I mean, yeah, interesting. It was an interesting bit of research to do this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And yeah, hopefully, guys, see you around soon. So hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. Something a little bit different for the channel. Obviously, we've done this bit of a rebrand. We're trying to do something a bit different now and start to step it up. Now, this one was in my bedroom. This one was in a familiar location for you guys. This video was somewhere where you've probably seen before. But the videos coming in the next couple of weeks aren't shot here. They're shot in a much more glamorous location. Obviously, in DTM was the main one that I've been recording over the last couple of weeks. But I've also been doing a commission for Watford Ladies, which is pretty cool. I've been working for the Watford Ladies Football Club, doing a documentary for them, which you'll see on the channel as well, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, so I've always thought about doing this, but I've never sort of ended up doing it. But I've actually set up sort of a fundraiser or a Patreon now for my YouTube channel. So if you ever thought about donating and wanted to sort of support the channel, help me try and progress and try and do something different, we're going to be starting that. So the link to that is down in the description. So it could be literally $1 or euro or pound that you donate per month to me. It will make a massive difference to me. And I've already heard a couple of people might be interested in donating. So that's awesome straight away. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So any money that I get from my Patreon is going to go directly into making new videos, whether that be new equipment, flights, that sort of stuff. It's all going to go directly into that. So yeah. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll see those videos from Germany and the Watford Commission as well. Exciting things are coming, guys. I really, really appreciate it. If you have thought about donating or are interested in doing so, the link's down there. I would really, really appreciate it. Also, let me know in the comment section if there's any extra sort of tiers on the Patreon you'd like to see. I've also got a couple of ones that I want to add on since recording this. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, donations are massively appreciated, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Something that's starting in the new sort of era on the channel, and I think it will only get better because hopefully not too many videos in this bedroom from now on. Hopefully we'll get outside and make it a bit more exciting. But thanks, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.